Hi folks, I just wanted to actually add in an additional video on YouTube just to help you a little bit with section C, because I feel like students might need a little bit of extra sort of guidance. Section C, there's lots of bits and pieces. I'm looking at the mark scheme right now. This is obviously you can demonstrate sort of development of ideas through a variety of media, and you should be doing modelling as well as drawing. But this is just to help you develop your computer-aided design ideas in a bit more to a higher level of quality, really. You know, one of the main things is that you really need to kind of stand out from everybody else in what you're designing, and that's you're going to have to think about originality, flair, innovation on existing solutions, and just, you know, sort of like enhancing everything, and that could be through your further or iterative investigation. It could be based on the investigation you've already done, and exploration, and also justification, constant justification of your ideas, looking at your design brief and specification, and also getting your client's opinion throughout. Also, you're willing to take risks, and also you need to have a fully detailed manufacturing specification at the end of this. But I'm just going to look at the CAD. I'm going to look at how further investigation can work. I'm looking at how you're using section A. I've actually taken some images off the internet, and what I'm doing here and now is I'm just coming up with a concept. My concept is, how do I make uncomfortable and personal seating areas which do not prove to have enough lighting in airports and waiting areas? You know, how can we make that better? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually switch now to SketchUp, and I'm going to just kind of show you a couple of ideas of how to get what I would say a higher mark in this section for your CAD work, and a lower mark. Okay, so first thing is I've just drawn some squares in a circle which I've quartered over on the side. I am of course using SketchUp Free, which I believe has got quite a few functionalities. Now, I have seen this time and time again. I've seen students do work of this sort of standard, and I just really want to quickly show you. I'm not even going to bother doing measurements. I've just measured it by eye using the avatar, and I just want to show you what's what I would consider basic in this. Hang on, let me just undo that last one because I've drawn the line to the corner, which I shouldn't have done. I just want to try and show you. This is seating for an airport. Okay, so that's not going to allow me to go any further up because that's only so much, so I need to drop that down, and I'm going to use my magnetic fishing line, I call it. I'll bring that out a little bit. So this is okay. Maybe what we've done here on this is we've used an offset to create a nice little box, just so you can store things in there. Who knows? Maybe there's even something like a hook on the side. Actually, let's just use the circle tool. Something like there for charging your phone, and you know, let's just pull this in. And oh, hang on, let's undo that. I'm doing this at speed. Alright, okay, so that's my seating area. I might even be a bit fancy on the side and add in a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a thing like that, a little bit of an arched backrest, which I will pull away. I'll need to delete that away afterwards. I might want to add some textures. This is the bare minimum I'm thinking of here. Carpet fabrics. Let's use this fabric. It's not very nice, but you get the idea. And I'm really not going for the most beautiful thing here, as you can probably see. Let's use that. That looks fine. Yeah, nice. Alright, okay. This is really what I would kind of consider to be this is what I'd kind of consider to be sort of GCSE level at the very minute. I would say not the highest GCSE level as well in that situation. It's pretty basic. It's not very imaginative. It's kind of modular. I might have some measurements on there. That's kind of, you know, you're using very basic shapes. There's places you could take this which would make it look really cool, but I just wanted to show you that's not going to get you much marks in an A-level situation, because it needs to be imaginative, it needs to be innovative, it needs to be thinking out of the box. It really still looks very similar, or even more basic, I would say, than the actual existing solution that I've researched. So that's no good. How are we going to make this more interesting? Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back actually and do a little bit of iterative research. So I'm going to go back to the internet, say, and I found this really interesting sort of, very quickly, I just put in smart lights on as a Google search, and I found a splicing LED smart light with these touch activated LED lighting for a wall, which looks really cool, and you can combine them. And as you can see here, you can buy different variants, some which are sort of triangular and some which are hexagonal. So I think those are really interesting, and I'd like to integrate them somehow. Also, I'd like to make it kind of like an organic, and also sort of just a bit more of a sort of an interesting space, a bit more of a sort of a cozy space if possible. I'm looking at this and I'm realizing it may be a little bit too small, but you know what, I'm going to have a go at it anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push pull this up a little bit. I'm going to make one section first, and then I can actually just copy and paste that. I'm going to have a section here and a section there. I don't even know if these measurements are right. Once again, I'm going to say I'm drawing at speed. Now, right, so suddenly we've already kind of broken away from this sort of square sort of system almost, if you like, and we're kind of looking at this in different sort of, we're looking at this from different sides really. I want to make it more of a sort of a relaxing kind of cavernous space, a bit more private. So what I might do then is I might just use the 2-point arc tool here, for example. I'm just doing this quite randomly, and I'm probably doing this a bit too small, but this is just an initial idea. But we need to think about how we can develop these into more developed ideas to get us higher marks in this section, because that's really the aim of the game. So I'm going to just bring this out. I know it's not correct. I'm not really looking for accuracy at this point. Let's just maybe bring it back a little bit actually. I'm going to undo that. We could have that there perhaps, and yeah, it's not resolved, so it's not going to allow me to bring it out here. I could have, yeah, maybe just this as a space here, and then potentially I could draw something along the side here, like another wall. Let's just try drawing a square along the side of this. Yeah, so it just closes off a little bit. Something like an organic space, and you have a couple of these hexagons, or maybe we can use this, brilliant, along here. You know, kind of as a lighting system. Yeah. I'm thinking about, you know, a completely different type of space. Let's maybe mix it up a bit. I could actually go back and I could think about different types of materials. For example, glass, having see-through aspects to this. Let's just go to colours. Or maybe we have some nice woods in there to make it more comfortable. Let's go for something like this. And maybe I could have sort of a cushioned area where you can kind of sit down within here. So I could think of a little bit of, perhaps a bit of bedding or something like that. Now, if I was doing this properly, which I'm not, I could potentially just, you know, I could potentially make this really, really like nice and detailed and just drawn out a bit more properly than I am doing now. But I'm not doing that at the moment. I just want to kind of show the concept, and I want to show the difference in terms of looking at an idea which has got some form of innovation in it and something which is not going to get you much marks because it's quite kind of, you know, it's not thinking out of the box. These are both initial ideas. They both should be developed far more exactly. You should put measurements on them. And when you bring these back in, what you want to be doing is taking decent screenshots. You've already put measurements on. Let's see if we can get the measurements up here. You know, I mean, obviously this is all over the place, but you kind of get the idea. And you could say, I'm going to multiply this 4 times around. You know, maybe we could actually just make this a bit more interesting by having some extra colors on here, just to make it look a little bit more friendly, warm and impersonal. Less impersonal, I should say. Some yellow on. You know, things like that, they make all the difference. Carpets, let's just put in a bit more of that weave stuff there. Yeah, okay. So screenshots, let me just pan down here. You know, get your measurements in as well, so you can show that you're thinking about the dimensions of this, and this will help with any scale modeling as well that you need to do for section C. You want to think about materials, you want to annotate this. So what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to take print screen. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to minimize my, I'm going to crop it like a nice clean crop, so I get all of my things in there, my measurements and so forth. And this is my concept, and I can now start to annotate this, and I can get a client opinion on this, because it's actually something, you know, you could put in the other picture as well as an initial idea, but you could say I've developed it onwards. You need to relate the aesthetics. For example, you need to relate the specification and design brief, the design decisions you've taken. For example, I decided to make this more of a circular area, more like a cavernous area, provides privacy. I'm going to use the, through my iterative and further investigation, I found that using a touch-sensitive light would be really cool, because it sort of offers a little bit of an interactive space, and it allows the person to control the level of light that they want to have. Obviously, you know, you're thinking about, this is like a first concept, you know, you think about the cost, this might not be viable, all those kinds of things. And you need to have detailed annotation to communicate your design ideas. That is stated as well in the mark scheme. So I just really wanted to compare today good versus bad, really, in terms of like sort of some of the design ideas. If you want to kind of, you know, I'm not, you know, this could be for GCSE, this could be for A level, but you know, you can really, as with the drawing, as with the modelling, you can demonstrate if you've actually invested time and developed real skills in a CAD virtual modelling program like SketchUp, and that will show in your work, and that will help your annotation and every other facet of this project. So I hope that's been of some help, and this is hopefully helpful to everybody, because it deals with a sort of an area potentially of storage, an area of lighting, an area of space, and a sort of like an actual design concept.